Welcome back to the show, everyone. I literally just had a sneeze fit, which is why
Yeah.
I sound like this, which really was a beautiful
Springtime.
segue.
Yeah. Springtime's fun, isn't it? Is it?
It's just popping up daisies and bunnies and glitter and rainbows.
Oh my God. I saw an article like a week ago that it caught my eye, the title of it, because it said that neurodivergent people really do have more allergies than non-neurodivergent people. And I thought, oh, that stereotype of kind of the constantly allergic and asthma laden
Nerd.
neurodivergent is sort of comes from somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because the article talked about it might be something that is, co-occurring with those genes for ADHD or autism. But they also said sort of what you mentioned when I mentioned it to you was that our sensory system is so hyper wired that it affects us more. So we're more likely to seek help for it, right? And then that's how they can count those numbers. If someone just has transient allergies and never goes to the doctor, you wouldn't know about it. But I can
Yeah.
think about like if my nose gets itchy or something in my eye or even in my throat, it's hard to tamp it down because the sort of that hyper wiring just keeps it going, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's just another thing to manage. I mean,
right, right,
neurodivergent people don't have to manage much at all,
right,
enter
right, right,
sarcasm.
right.
So why
Yeah,
not?
yeah,
Why not throw in more allergies
yeah.
and just make it more difficult to be in the world?
And I'm thinking of like when I was a kid, I went undiagnosed with asthma and allergies till I was in undergrad. And it was because we were moving, going back and forth to college, we were moving our stuff. I think it was like in December, so it was cold. So I was having that exercise induced asthma. And it was
Yeah.
like to where it was whistling when I breathed in and out, and my mom's finally like, and I was like, maybe I should go see a doctor because we've talked on the show about medical neglect. So I was old enough to make my own appointment and go. And I just remember the doctor's face looking at me where I was like, oh yeah, when I was a kid, I'd sometimes have a hard breathing at night. So I'd prop myself up in bed, kind of over like that so I could breathe. And he's just like, that was like my first introduction to probably parents not attending to that stuff isn't normal,
Yeah. Yeah.
but learning a lot about things like dust mite allergies and
Oh,
having to have stuff like we don't have any, my entire house is all hardwood floors. When we looked for a new house, that was an absolute must.
yeah.
And the area little rugs we have around, they're washable, and I have
Yeah.
almost nothing in my bedroom that is a surface for that, right? And then I was looking at the allergy report last week because it's my wife and I are both kind of like, wake up in the morning and our eyes are all puffed out. And we're like, what the hell is going on? Especially when it's cool enough to keep a window open, but not so cold that you
Oh,
can't have the window
yeah.
open at night. And then you
Yeah.
wake up. So yeah, those of you that have like seasonal allergies, right? It's like now it's the tree pollen. And then a little bit later comes the ragweed. So if you have ragweed stuff, it's sort of after the tree pollen. And if you have all of the allergies, it's pretty much early spring to middle of summer that your grasses is the other one that's big right now that you're suffering quite a bit.
Oh,
So yeah,
that's
and
good.
so the locus of control thing, like when you said it was something else you have to manage, I was just thinking about what swum in my head was times when I've looked for places to live or when I've gone to stay in places that I'm like, my wife loves to do the Airbnb and rent a house somewhere. And I'm like, I just can't do that because it's not predictable enough. I don't know if the mold count's going to be high, if they're going to be rugs, all this kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And it really just becomes another thing that is annoying and kind of annoying to other people if it gets in the way.
Yeah.
And a lot of used to be a lot of masking around it. And then I actually got tested. They do all the testing on your back
Oh,
and
yeah.
got dog and cat and grass and other pollen shots for 24 years or so. And that's one of the main reasons I left the veterinary field. Is my doctor said, you're going to have an asthma attack in your sleep
Oh.
and you're not going to wake up one day. Every time I went in there, they'd say, wait, how old are your cats now? And I'm like, I'm not getting rid of my cats because I have allergies. And now, and I was deathly allergic to cats when I was really little. I think I desensitized myself a little bit. Um, but there's a lot of sort of loss with it. If you're a kid and you have allergies, you want to have a pet, and that sort of is out the window. I have these air cleaners in my bedroom that keep all that stuff down and clean your bedding more often and yada yada yada. And that, haven't I talking about like skin allergies, like if you have an allergy to
Oh,
fabrics or some people have allergies to the stuff they wash their clothes with, and then you have to manage that. That's a lot to deal with, especially from a sensory perspective.
yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it's just load, right? It's just
Yeah.
more, when people say, gosh, it's no big deal. This is no
Yeah.
big deal. This is no big deal.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a big deal when I have a lot of no big deals.
Yeah. Yeah. When
I've
they
got
all
a
pile up.
collection
Yeah.
of no big
Right.
deals.
Yeah.
And so just another no big deal feels like a really
Mhm.
big deal, right? Like it's like
Exactly.
the context of the situation.
And
So
if it's
yeah.
chronic, you're having
Oh my
allergies
God.
for months on end. I mean, that
Yeah.
really does
It's
give
awful.
you, pulls that load high. Yeah.
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 Do you think, Dana, playing with stereotypes as we play with
Mm-hmm.
stereotypes, the
Mm-hmm.
the nerd, the nerd who has a lot of allergies kind of
Yeah.
stereotype kind of thing. What about reptiles? Because do you think
Oh,
that maybe there's a gravitation to reptiles because there is an
I wonder.
allergy to
Yeah.
cats and dogs and stuff? I just
Yeah, or
wonder
like fish. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. I mean, there can be
I don't
those
know.
issues with keeping the tank clean. Like I have mold allergies and that. So the first thing I thought was when I walk into a pet store, I can tell if they have those cages immediately because I can smell it. But if you're not
Oh,
allergic to that, it wouldn't be a big deal, right? But yeah, I
yeah.
wonder. Yeah, the stereotype of snakes and lizards and fish and stuff like that, right? I wonder. Weird bugs,
Bugs, insects. I
spiders,
mean,
insects. Yeah, 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 yeah,
that's a thing,
yeah.
so that's
Horses
just
for
so
girls,
funny.
although yeah, I'm allergic to horses too. But yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Oh
am
my
allergic to
goodness.
birds, which I don't mind because birds freak me
Oh,
out. Anytime when I was a vet tech and they needed someone to help with a bird, I usually tried to hide somewhere.
you're like, not me. Not
So gross.
not I.
No,
No, thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
No,
I
no, no,
wonder
no.
about that stereotype. Yeah. And then allergies in general, what this article was talking about, even as far as like anaphylactic reactions. Like I have a client whose kiddo has peanut allergies, like
Yeah.
to the point where needing the EpiPen and those kinds of things. Oh, that's changing a bit. That person is enrolled in a desensitization study with microdosing. So they've got that kid up to eating a peanut a day. So they started with this minuscule amount. And so,
What?
yeah, the idea is some of what's going on is we've been so restrictive as a
Yeah.
society that now
Yeah.
we're having these recessive
Yeah.
genes sort of express. Um,
Yeah.
so it's good to see the science around that kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad you could desensitize the nut allergy,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that one is so deadly. Like it can be so deadly,
Yeah.
and it's
And
in
it's
everything.
everywhere. You know,
It's
the kid who's in
everywhere. It's in
school who doesn't
everything.
want to be the weirdo, and then the whole school can't have
Yeah.
peanuts at all because of, it just imagine the stigma and how you
Yeah.
feel when you're a little kid and other kids are like, we can't have this because of you. It'd be awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the nut free table. That's another thing they do.
Yeah.
Which we understand. Like I understand,
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
reasoning for that. But to be able then to sit there and be like, oh, okay, I'm again,
Yeah.
just another point of
Uh,
isolation or another
yeah.
point of,
Yes,
I will say
exactly.
difference, not isolation, but
Yeah. And we
difference,
know
right?
how, nice kids are to you when you're different. Yeah.
I
Right.
know they're so
Yeah.
nice. Kids are
So,
kids, especially through your junior high years too, and middle school
hmm
and high school. It's
hmm
great. It's just, I
Yeah.
only hear
Yeah.
about, back to puppies and rainbows and bunnies and
Oh, yeah.
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 That's how it is. It's just sarcasm today. Just dripping with sarcasm throughout
Right?
today. But
But
I think like, yeah,
okay.
but I think this conversation about allergies, right? Again,
Mhm.
the first place my mind went to was like another thing. That's why I was
Yeah.
like, and I can't imagine how it is for some people, but it's like, oh yeah, I know, or oh yeah, that might explain something, or yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah, just this
Mm.
very defeated place to
Yeah.
be, I think
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
can
Of
be.
course I have that weird thing. Yeah,
Of
yeah,
course I
where yep.
do. Why
Mhm.
not? Throw it on. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah. And when you think
yeah.
about it sort of borders on allergy, but sensitivities to things like perfumes and colognes and things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So you get that in there and then it just won't get out of there. I got groceries the other day. I got them delivered to the house and the package of toilet paper, it must have been the guy that delivered in the car either was burning incense in the car
Oh. Oh
or
no.
something. Yeah, because I was smelling the plastic covering and I'm like, that smells like, and then it was just kind of stuck in there. And so I put that set of the toilet paper like on a different shelf to outgas, if you will.
Yeah.
And those are things that I think most people aren't having to deal with, but that smell can think for me, if sensorily smells will completely hijack my brain. I can't.
Yeah.
There's such a need to escape to get away from it. It's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's pretty
Hmm,
awful.
hmm.
Wow. Well, what an upbeat podcast we have.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Ah.
So what do you do about it? So I've learned to cope pretty well. I mean, like I said about the low fabrics kind of thing, especially in my bedroom. I don't have when you really think about wall to wall carpeting, and it's a really kind of a weird idea with what it holds on to. And then
Yeah.
things like, if you start to do some research, like I have dust mite covers on my pillows, and then you're supposed to
Yeah.
not keep your pillows for X amount of time. And you just sort of, sometimes it can be a drain and having to deal with all that. But other times it's like, oh, I'm grateful that I have things that I can do that make a significant difference, you
Yeah.
know?
Which
Yeah.
brings up honestly too, as you're talking about all of this, it's funny because I was like, oh, maybe my allergies aren't that bad. But as you're talking, I'm like, wow, I do that. I do that. I do that. I do that. I've got dust mite
Ah,
covers. I'm very allergic to dust mites. That is something that came
yeah.
up in my
Ah, yeah. 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 Yeah.
I am also very allergic to cats and dogs. And
Yeah. Oh, your
with
dog
my
you're allergic
skin,
to.
yeah, more
Okay.
so than cats, which I thought was the reverse. That's what my
Okay.
skin test, the
Oh, yeah,
showed
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Anyway,
Yep.
and when he saw my arm, because I had it on both arms instead of my back, they like
Yeah.
graphed my not like put
Yeah, yeah, they
the
do your
graph, the
forearms, yeah.
chart on my arm,
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
said, "Gosh, I hope you don't have any dogs." And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You need to get rid of it."
Oh,
And I was like, "Absolutely not." But I am
yeah.
still on a wait list for allergy shots.
There's a wait list?
A year and a half I've been on this wait list. Uh-huh.
Why is there a wait list? To get the serum to desensitize you
To
or what?
go in to get allergy shots.
Oh
Like
my
the allergy
God.
shot clinic is that full.
That says something that like what is
Uh-huh.
going on in our global environment that this many people are having this bad allergies.
So that's really
Yeah.
interesting. But I was
Wow.
thinking that, that this brought me to access. And,
Yes, exactly.
it's like, great, I got to get dust mite covers. I got to,
Hmm.
change out my pillows. I have to get washable rugs. I have to like do all these things. It's like the money,
Oh
the
God,
just
if you bought dust mite covers, you know how much they cost. They're
right. It's
not
like
cheap. Yeah.
that alone, some people just can't do that,
Right.
And so
Exactly.
again, it's just
That's right.
another it's another I feel like it's just another point of difficulty, another point of
Hmm.
access, another point that I think just kind of loads onto
Yeah.
not only
Yeah.
just the body, but the stress, like the stress of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And I think of like a little
Um
kid, like you don't know what's going on, so you just know you feel crappy,
yeah.
and that could make irritability and
Yeah.
there could be more meltdowns and all kinds of
Oh
things
yeah.
like that,
Oh
right?
yeah.
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 Because again, it's so easy.
Mm,
Like yeah, growing up is so
yeah.
easy anyway. If you can relate and you want to share
Yeah.
Your
If
allergies.
if it fits along with this article, it would be curious to see what
Yeah.
the percentage of folks listening who have different kinds of allergies. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be great. All right, everyone.
Jeez.
Well, as Dana and I, we both blew our nose. Dana, you have yours at the same time. We but Dana
I have a box of Kleenex in
I
every
do
room
too.
of my house.
Yeah, me too. Here, Dana. Cheers. Cheers.
If that gives you an idea. Oh, it's
I
so
go
funny.
through this
Yeah.
one. I have them all over the house as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, everyone, be good to you, be good to others, and hopefully
We'll
may
sniff off.
Zizal or Claritin take you through this time.
Yeah.
Well, all right, we'll catch you in this next episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye.